Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video and thank you for tuning in. Today's video is going to be coming with a bit more of a somber tone to my normal posts. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a letter that I started to write 2 years ago. I didn't complete it back then, but due to the recent happenings in this country and within our current government, I felt that now was the time to complete it and share it with you all and the world. This is my heart and soul. This is everything that I stand for and what I see and hear every single day through the people that I connect with. We as a country are on the global stage right now. The world's eyes are looking onto us and watching our country fall apart at the seams. Due to recent events and decisions made by our government, we've almost become a bit of a laughingstock of the world. Critical decisions that have been poorly executed, which has let us down and let down many across the globe. Today, I read out a letter that I've written to our Prime Minister and to our fellow Australians. It's time for change. Next week, I will be releasing a follow-up video to this one, which outlines how I personally feel that we can make improvements in the issues I'll be outlining in this video. I will also be sharing a way that if you agree with what I am saying, that you will be able to join our community and join the cause. We as a team are working on some major plans where we'll be able to, as a community, impact the trajectory of our human evolution in what I feel is a very positive way. Thank you again for your time. And if you have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to reach out. And if you feel this message is important, share it. Share it so that it can go far and wide. Much love and namaste. Dear Mr. Prime Minister, today I write to you on behalf of myself, and I also believe I'm acting as the voice of my fellow countrymen, women, and everyone in between. Today I write to you with pain in my heart. Pain because I see and hear of so many stories of how the very system that is meant to work for us is working against us. We the people have lost faith within the key pillars of our society that we are trusting with our lives and livelihoods. We have lost faith within the education, political, judicial, and our health systems alike. The system is failing us and letting us down. You and your colleagues are failing us and letting us down. We the people are tired. We are tired of voting in political parties who swear to God and us that they will serve to protect us. I believe the oath goes something like this. I, Samuel Stolberg, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God. It seems that this oath gets forgotten about once you lot have taken your seat. But we don't forget. We don't forget how many of your colleagues take joyrides in helicopters and spend taxpayer dollars while on holidays overseas visiting strip clubs. Please tell me how this is faithful to Her Majesty and her heirs. Our education system is outdated and broken. It fails the ones who need it most and holds back those who excel. For a bloke who has ADHD, the current education system wasn't accommodating to me in what is effectively a mental disability, albeit a mild one. We hear stories of bullying and molestation from those who are meant to be helping our youth, teaching them and guiding them to excel at life. We need to be nourishing our children, allowing their natural curiosity to shine. Instead, we teach our kids to be sheep. We remove their creativity and individuality, breaking the spirits of many. We have so much room to grow here, but we continue to operate the same way. It's 2021. How is the education system basically a mirror image of how it was when my grandparents went to school? We're teaching outdated classes and lessons. We're teaching sciences and history that is proven to be wrong. Our teachers are not given the freedom to teach. If they bend outside of this bullshit system that we have created, they are reprimanded. This then also forces them to become another cog in the machine that just drives us deeper into despair, drives us deeper into the meat grinder that is mincing the minds of our youth. It's time for change. I apologize for the next part. I'm not huge into politics. It is not something that has given me much faith in the last nearly 31 years of my life. I understand that some of the things I mentioned earlier may not have been your party, nor are some of the things that I am going to mention. But we, the people, are over the tantrums and name calling, or what I like to call schoolyard bullshit. How about you all put your big boy and girl pants on and serve your people and country? Those people that, as I mentioned earlier, you swore under oath to serve. Do the jobs that you were paid to do. The job that you feel you keep doing so well that you deserve a pay rise. A pay rise for what? Failing us? We're sick of you allowing other countries to purchase huge chunks of our land and for the poor management of our resources. We are sick of the desecration of the original custodians of this land's sacred sites. We are pushed to our absolute limits with the amount of tax that we are forced to pay because you guys can't seem to manage the money that is brought in. It is time that we start caring for our fellow Australians again, irrespective of what colour their skin is, by what name they call God, or if they believe in one at all, or by the gender of the person that they love. Even those who weren't born here but seek refuge on these soils. We've lost faith in the work that you and your colleagues are doing. We have lost trust in the system that we are forced to vote in but have no faith in. We are supposed to live in a democracy. A democracy is, by definition, a system of government by the whole population of all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives. Somewhere along the lines, we the people lose our voice as you lot push your personal agendas for personal gain. Somewhere along the lines, we go from being a democracy to being more along the lines of a dictatorship. It's time you and the other parties start working for the people again. Corruption is rife through the ranks of Parliament, which has been proven time and time again, and for some reason has almost become accepted that it is just a part of the job. How have we let this happen? Is there a way that we can organise a nationwide investigation into the way that your colleagues' pockets are lined by private enterprise to push their own personal agendas? Again, this is something that has been proven so many times that it terrifies me. Put a dog in the hen house and watch the rats flood out. It's time for change. Further to the aforementioned corruption that at this point is just becoming a joke. Our judicial system is about as straight as a dog's hind leg. We are letting sex offenders, rapists and murderers run free to go out and commit these heinous crimes once more. Gangs are paying off judges and lawyers, buying their freedom. This isn't conspiracy. This is the cold, hard and bloody, unfortunate truth. How much longer are we going to let these criminals continue repeating these crimes? How many children need to be sexually assaulted before we step in and take charge? How many times are we going to let violent criminals back out on the streets to go home and murder their partners? How much blood needs to be on these hands before action is taken? This goes beyond our judicial system. This goes right down to the boots on the ground, the ones who put these criminals into the courts, the police force. We the people are even losing faith within the police. The corruption extends right through to the roots of the system. Gross abuse of power that has been on display in recent times. Now, let me say this. I have a lot of respect for a lot of the men and women who serve in our police force. Every day there are beautiful police officers doing a fantastic job, and unfortunately this has become a case of the minority ruining it for the majority. Many of these men and women are just doing their jobs, tasks that are handed down from the powers that be, powers that are ultimately corrupt, just like the system they reside in. Terror squads being released on protesters. Terror squads being used as personal hound dogs for politicians against journalists because the journalist threatens to unveil the very corruption that I've been talking about in this letter. When do we turn against each other? At what point did we think it was okay to stand toe to toe with our fellow Australians and wage war on our own soils? And ultimately, where does it all end? Does it all end when we become a totalitarian state? A few more wrong decisions, and that is exactly where we will end up. We the people have had enough. It's time for change. Now, because I raised the point of an independent journalist being terrorised by an anti-terror squad, this brings up another point. We the people are losing faith within our media. Or maybe, more to the point, we should be losing faith within the media. Corruption extends into what we deem mainstream media. The Murdoch propaganda machine has been running rampant for generations and has a monopoly on the misinformation that they can put out into the world. Yet again, not another conspiracy. This is the truth. How is a media company that is so bloody heavily biased and has been proven to be biased and feeding us with misinformation allowed to continue operating in such a way? Oh, that's right. Because their biased opinion is what continues to keep you and your cronies in power. It drives the fear into the hearts of our people, and that fear then makes them more compliant to the greater cause, right? But they are losing power. Independent journalism is coming into its own strength, and there is nothing that you are able to do about that. The power is coming back to the people, where it always should have been. Independent journalists reporting on the controversies and facts of the state of despair that our country and globe are in. Reporters like Friendly Jordies, Avi Yamini, or even Russell Brand, all sharing insights into how broken this system has become. This next part is something that is very close to my heart, and I don't use that term lightly. The health system literally saved my life. Without the magnificent work of our health workers, I would not be here today calling out that system that saved my life. Don't get me wrong, I'm obviously beyond grateful for everything it has done for me, but the health system is still broken and needs to be repaired. I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to be a voice for the people, those who don't have the capacity to reach out. We are letting the sick get sicker. I've experienced firsthand how our health system continues to fail our people and continues to put more on unnecessary strain on the people it is supposed to be helping. A system that is run more like a business than a health system, lining the pockets of big pharmaceutical companies with a complete disregard for the men, women, and children that it was created to help. Much like our education system and its teachers, our doctors just become another cog in the meat grinder, being forced to operate in a way that is not beneficial to them or the patients they are trying to treat. Great doctors that must bend to the tyrannical system that is nowhere near as effective as it could be. Nay, as it should be. The medical research that has come out in recent years is vilified, and the doctors who use it to treat illnesses are threatened. How are doctors supposed to treat their patients with medical science that is backed by years of research simply because it isn't backed by your people, because they don't stand to make money from it? Natural remedies and treatments that have been proven time and time again to help, but once more, don't align with those who stand to gain from selling the pharmaceuticals that are so heavily pushed. Because ultimately, keeping people sick is good for business. Again, this is not conspiracy. This has been proven and is right in front of our noses, but gets swept under the rug as we just continue to let it happen. How are our doctors supposed to treat people properly when they are living in fear of being reprimanded? And if they stand against that system, they're publicly hung, drawn, and quartered. We the people are tired, both patients and healthcare workers alike. It's time for change. Now, I know that I'm throwing a lot of shade here, but I feel like it is just. Standing on the sidelines is something that I cannot simply do anymore, as I see my fellow countrymen pushed to their limits, as I continue hearing of preventable suicides. We are bearing witness to our country fall into civil unrest. We are watching our country on the edge of totalitarianism. But if we are honest, we're already there. Totalitarianism under the guise of democracy. This next part goes out to everyone who is listening to me right now, no matter where you stand or whether you reside within the country that I'm recording this for. We are standing on the edge of a pivotal point in our history as a human race, and it is at this point that we all need to stand together as one, to make sure that when we are standing on the other side, that we can look back and hold our heads up high, so that when we are looking back, we can look back with pride. Who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm just a true blue Aussie battler who refuses to lay down and watch this crucial moment in our history go by. A bloke who refuses to look back and tell the generations to come that I was complicit in my requirements as a human on this planet in what is the most bizarre times in our human history and what could potentially be one of the most crucial points in our human history. The history is unfolding in front of our very eyes. This goes beyond you and me. We need to come together on these hallowed grounds in these times. We need to stand together and stand united. Individually, we may not have a voice, but together, our unified voices will echo through history. One stone dropped into the pond will create ripples, but many stones will create waves. Very big waves. I've lost a lot of faith within these systems that I've mentioned, and there is a lot more that I could point out, but I feel I've made my point clear. I may have lost faith, but I still have faith. I have faith that we can make the right decisions and undo this mess that we have created, that we all have created. I have faith that we can make this right for the generations to come. I have faith in you. I have faith in those who stand beside me, even faith in those who don't. My faith has been tested, but my faith still stands, and that faith lays within the greater good of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Samuel Stolberg, and this is a plea for all of you. Stand up against a broken system. If we don't, we risk everything. It's time for change, and it's time that we all stand together for that change.